Hello everyone, my name is Anshu Kumar and I'm one of the math experts from QMath. We are the #1 math experts community in India and we make learning mathematics fun. We at QMath enable our students to look for the why before the what of a concept, and all our students learn the concepts by themselves just by working on them. So I welcome you all to our channel, the NCERT Class 10 Math, where we will be posting videos on concepts and questions of different topics of this grade. So if you like this video, do share it with your friends, click on the like button, do subscribe to our channel, and also click on the bell icon. Also, if you want a live one-on-one session with one of the QMath certified teachers, to check the link in the description to enroll with QMath. And if you register with that link now, you're going to get one free live online demo session with us. So in today's video, let's see what are the different methods to find the roots of a quadratic equation. So the different methods are, the #1 method is the factorization method. The second one is the completion of square method. The third one is the quadratic formula method. So in this video, we are only going to discuss the factorization method. But before we proceed with this topic, we've made a video on quadratic equations and its general form. You all can go and check that video first before you can come back and continue with this. Now, to understand how we can factorize a quadratic equation to find its roots, let us consider the general form of a quadratic equation, which is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now here, we know that a, b, c are real numbers, and we also know that b is formed by adding two terms. Let us consider them to be p and q. So b equals p plus q, such that the product of p and q will be equal to the product of A and C. Now let us see how can we use this concept to factorize different quadratic equations and hence find their roots. Let us work on some questions now. So we have been given a question where we'll have to find the roots of the following quadratic equation using the factorization method. Now to find the roots of this quadratic equation, let's first, for our reference, write the general form. So x square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now if you compare this with the equation given to us, that is 6x square minus x minus 2. So the value of a is 6, the value of b is -1, and the value of c is -2. Now we know that b is formed by sum of two terms. Let us consider them to be p and q, such that the product of p and q is equal to the product of a and c. So basically, let's first find what is the product of a and c. So basically 6 times -2 would give us -12. Now, since we have -12 and we'll have to first split -12 in two parts such that we get the values of p and q, then we can split this term in two parts and then factorize this equation. So let us first see what we'll do. So basically, we'll first list down the factors of the product of a and c. So factors of -12. So basically, we'll take all the numbers. So +1 -1 and +1 plus -12. So basically 1 and 12 you'll multiply 1 and 12, you'll get 12. Okay, so I'll write them in such a way that you multiply the two factors, you'll always get to that number. The next one is +-2. And we can write here +-6 because 6 times 2 is 12. Then we have +-3 and again +-4. So these are the 6 factors of 12, and we've taken the positive and the negative of all these factors, all these numbers. Now let us look at the different combination we have such that when we add those two combinations, we get b equals -1, and when we multiply those two combinations, we get a times c, that is -12. And if you look at these numbers, there is only one combination which is going to give you that result, and that is when you add -3, when you add +3 with -4, let's see what happens. So basically you get +3, I don't know why I'm saying -3. So it's basically +3, -4, and that is going to be -1. And this is nothing but RB. And if we multiply the two, that is +3 times with -4, we are going to get -12, and this is nothing but the product AC. So now we know that what are the values of P and Q. So basically P is +3 and Q is -4. Now you can switch the values and you can take them as well. So let's now put these values in this equation. So 6x square plus 3x minus 4x minus 2 is equal to 0. So plus 3x and minus 4x would give you minus x. Now, if you take the common factor between these two, you're going to get 3x as the common factor. So 2x plus 1. Then if you take the common factor between these two terms, you're going to get -2. So you will get 2x plus 1. And that is equal to 0. Now, again, if you take the common factor between these two terms, so basically the common factor you see is 2x plus 1, and the other factor would be 3x minus 2, and this is equal to 0. Now, these are the two factors of this quadratic equation, but we'll have to find the roots. So we'll equate each of these factors with 0. So 2x plus 1 equal to 0, which implies that 2x is equal to -1, which implies that x is equal to -1/2. Now, this is one of the roots of this quadratic equation. The second one would be 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. That is 3x is equal to 2, or x is equal to 2/3. Hence, to answer this question, the two roots are x is equal to -1/2 and 2/3. And we got these two roots using the factorization method. So you just saw that how can we use the factorization method to answer a question like this. Let's work on the next question. So here again, we have been given a quadratic equation. We'll have to again use the factorization method to find the roots. Let me write A, which is 3, B, which is -2, square root of 6, C, which is 2. Now we know A times C is nothing but 3 times 2, which is 6. Now, if we list the factors, what are we going to get? We are going to get plus minus 1, and 1 times 6 is 6. So I'll write plus minus 6 below that. Then plus minus 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. So plus minus 3. So these are the four factors of 6. But if we look at these four numbers and we think of different combinations, either we add, subtract, do anything, we'll never get a square root of 6. Now, this is where we'll have to be a bit smart and we'll have to think about this. So basically, we know that B is formed by a sum of two terms. And so basically, the two terms let us consider are to be B, P plus Q. Now, if B is -2 square root of 6, so basically B is nothing but an irrational number. Now we know that if we add two irrational numbers, we get an irrational number. So P and Q will also have to be irrational number, and the irrational factor here is nothing but square root of 6. So the irrational factor in P and Q will also be square root of 6. So basically, I'm just writing the irrational factor. I'm not saying that P is square root of 6 and Q is square root of 6. These are the two irrational factors. Now we get -2. Now what two numbers are we going to add so that we get -2? So it's very clear that if we add -1 and -1, we are going to get -2 square root of 6. So sometimes when we have square root, we'll have to be a bit smart and we'll have to manipulate the equations which we have like this. Now let us see whether the product of P and Q. So product of P and Q is nothing but -1 square root of 6 times -1 square root of 6. Let's see what is this equal to. So -1 is 1, square root of 6 is 6, which is equal to the product of A and C. So it clearly goes with the method of the factorization method. So now we can replace this middle term by the values of P and Q. So let's do that. So 3x square minus 1. So we don't write minus 1 square root of 6. We just write minus square root of 6x. Then again minus square root of 6x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now we know that we'll have to find the factors between these two terms. And if we see here, then if in case any one of the term consists of a square root, we'll have to be very careful. So what we'll do is we'll write 3 as square root of 3 times square root of 3x square, because we know that square root of 3 times square root of 3 is equal to 3. And if we write it like this, we'll get it in the irrational number form. Square root of 6 can be written as square root of 2 times square root of 3 times x, minus again square root of 6 is written as square root of 2 times square root of 3x, plus this 2 is going to be written as square root of 2 times square root of 2 is equal to 0. Now let's look out for the common factors between these two terms. And if we observe the terms carefully, the common factor would be square root of 3x. And we'll get square root of 3x minus square root of 2 if we take the common factors out. And between these two terms, the common factor would be square root of 2. That's it. And if we take this out, we are going to left with square root of 3x minus square root of 2 is equal to 0. Now between these two terms, again, we'll take the common factor, which is square root of 3x minus square root of 2. And then we are left out with square root of 3x minus square root of 2 is equal to 0. Now we see that the two factors which we have got here are similar. So we'll equate one of them equal to 0. Square root of 3x minus square root of 2 is equal to 0. Or we can write this as square root of 3x is equal to square root of 2. Or x is equal to square root of 2 over square root of 3. Now, since both the factors are similar, we don't have to repeat the method. But yes, when we are writing the final answer, we'll have to write the two roots. That is, x equals square root of 2 over square root of 3 and square root of 2 over square root of 3. We can say that the roots are equal in this in case of this quadratic equation. So here we saw that this was kind of a different type of a question, but we use the factorization method effectively to get to the answer. Let's now work on a couple of word problems and let's see how can we solve these two word problems using the factorization method. So here we have been given a question where we'll have to find two numbers whose sum is 27 and the product is 182. Okay, so let us consider the first number is n1 and that is x. Now we know that n1 plus n2 is 27 because we have considered the first number to be n1, the second number let us consider to be n2. Now how can we write n2 in terms of n1? So n2 is equal to 27 minus n1. And how can we write n2 in terms of x? So n2 equals 27 minus x. Now we have got both the numbers in terms of the same variable, because in quadratic equation we just have one variable in all the equations. So if we get the value of x, we can easily find the two numbers which they are asking for in this question. Now the second condition is the product of these two numbers is 182. So we'll consider n1, we'll form an equation, n1 times n2 is 182. And we'll substitute the value. So x times 27 minus x equals 182. Let us simplify this further. So we are going to get 27x minus x square equals 182. And if we take all the terms on one side and make the coefficient of x square positive, we are going to get x square minus 27x plus 182 is equal to 0. Now here we have the quadratic equation form. So we can use the factorization method now. So A is 1, B is negative 27, C is 182, A times C is 182. Now let us list the factors of 182. Now once I list the factors, the first one would be a combination of 1 and 182. Then we'll consider 2 and 91, because 91 times 2 is 182. Then we'll consider 7, and if we consider the next factor is 7, and then we'll get here 7 2s are 14, 7 6s are. So 7 times 26 is 182. Then we'll consider here 13, because that is also one of the factors. 13, and then the other factor would be 14, because 13 times 14 is 182. Now, if we look at these combinations, there are only two numbers which will be multiplied and we get 182. I mean, all these numbers multiplied will give us 182, but there is only one combination where we'll add them to get negative 27. So basically, we'll take the combination, we'll take that combination as we see here. So negative 13 when added to negative 14 will give us negative 27. And we know that negative 13 and negative 14 times gives us 182. So we clearly got the two terms, which the sum of which will form the term B, and hence we will split this middle term using those two values. So basically we'll replace this middle term. So x square is x square, and then minus 13x minus 14x plus 182 is equal to 0. We'll take the common factor between these two terms. So x minus 13 minus 14 times x minus 13 is equal to 0. Let me rewrite this equation again here. So x times x minus 13 minus 14 times x minus 13 is equal to 0. Now we'll take the common factor from these two terms. So we are going to get x minus 13 times x minus 14 is equal to 0. Now let's simplify the two. Let's solve the two factors to get to the roots of the quadratic equation. So we'll take x minus 13 is equal to 0, or x is equal to 13. And we'll take x minus 14 is equal to 0, or x is equal to 14. Now here we get two values of x. Now how can we find the correct set of answers? Let's see. So if we say that x is 13, then n1, let me write it here. So then n1 is 13, and then n2 is 27 minus 13, that is 14. Or if we consider n1 as 14, then n2 is 27 minus 14, that is 13. So basically you take any value of x, the answer is still valid, and you get the two numbers to be 13 and 14, or 14 and 13. In any order you take, both the numbers you add, you'll get 27. Both the numbers you multiply, you'll get 182. So it does not matter in which order you're going to take. Let's work on the next question. So here we have been given a word problem again, and the question is the altitude of a right angle triangle is 7 centimeter less than its base. If the hypotenuse is 13 centimeter, find the other two sides. Okay, so here the hypotenuse is AC. So the hypotenuse is the side opposite to the 90 degrees. So hypotenuse is AC, and that is nothing but 13 centimeter. Then it says the altitude of a right angle triangle is 7 centimeter less than its base. So if we know the base, we can easily say what is the altitude, because we can compare the altitude with respect to the base then. So let us, since we don't have any value, let us consider the base BC to be x centimeters. Then the altitude AB is 7 centimeters less, so x minus 7 centimeters. Now if I have to label these three values here, so this is 13, this is x, and this is x minus 7. Now we know that since this is a right angle triangle, right angled at B, we have the lengths of the three sides, but yes, in terms of x, we have the lengths of the two sides in terms of x, and we'll have to find the values. So we know that for a right angle triangle, to find the side lengths, we can use the Pythagoras theorem. So let's use the Pythagoras theorem, and we know that by Pythagoras theorem, so what is the Pythagoras theorem? The square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square sum of the square of the other two sides. So basically, we'll get here 13 square is equal to, perpendicular is basically the altitude. So x minus 7 square, and base is x square. Now if we evaluate this equation, so 13 square is 169, x minus 7 whole square is x square minus 14x plus 49 plus x square. Now if we take all the terms on one side and keep the coefficient of x square a positive number, so we are going to get twice of x square minus 14x and minus 120 is equal to 0. Now we see that this is nothing but an equation, a quadratic equation. So we can easily factorize this. Let us take the value of a. The value of a is 2. The value of b is negative 14, and the value of c is negative 120. So a times c would be negative 140. So basically a times c is 2 times negative 120, which is negative 240. So we'll have to look for the factors of negative 240. So the factors would be plus minus 1 plus minus 240, then plus minus 2 plus minus 120, plus minus 3 plus minus 80. There are a lot of factors. Then plus minus 4 plus minus 60, plus minus 5 plus minus 5 4s are 5 8s are 48. Then we have plus minus 6 and plus minus 40. Then we have plus minus 8 and plus minus 30. Then we can say plus minus 10, plus minus 12. And can we look for any other combination? Sorry, plus minus 12 is not correct. Plus minus 10 and plus minus 24 would give us the product 240. So if we look at these different combinations of numbers, there is only one combination which is going to give us this value of b. Like that particular combination can be split into two terms, which is going to give us negative 14. So basically, if we consider the values plus 10, and if we add this plus 10 to negative 24, we are going to get negative 14. So these are the two values which satisfies this particular quadratic equation. So let me rewrite this equation here. So 2x square minus 14x minus 120 is equal to 0. Now we've got the two terms which this middle term is going to be split into. So 2x square plus 10x minus 24x minus 120 is equal to 0. Let me take the common between the two terms, or the common factor. So 2x would give us x plus 5 minus 24 times x plus 5 is equal to 0. So now we'll take the common factor between these two terms. So x plus 5 times 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. Now we have the two factors. We can find the two roots from here. So we'll equate each of the factors with 0 individually. So x plus 5 is equal to 0. X equals negative 5. 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. So 2x is equal to 24. X is equal to 24 by 2, that is 12. Now here again we've got two values of x and which one to take. Now if we take x as -5, the length of BC would be a negative number, and we know that length can never be negative, so we'll discard this value. So hence the value of x would be 12 for sure. So basically from here we get that BC is equal to x is equal to 12 centimeters, and AB would be equal to x minus 7, that is 12 minus 7, that is 5 centimeters. So basically we have got the two side lengths which they were asking for. So you just saw that how can we even solve the word problems by first getting to the quadratic equation and then by using the factorization method to solve this question. So basically now you must have understood that how we can solve these questions using the factorization method. Do tune in to the next set of videos to learn the other methods of finding the roots of a quadratic equation. Do use this method to solve questions from your textbook, and let us know if you have any questions, any doubts in the comment section below. We'll definitely answer all of them. So if you like this video, do share it with your friends. Click on the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also click on the bell icon. Also remember that if you want a live one-on-one session with one of the QMath certified teachers, do check the link in the description. And if you go right now and register with that link, you're going to get one free live online demo session with us. So do see you in the next video. Do have a good day and bye-bye for now.